I'm
way
not
better.
usually surprised. I was really surprised because we asked Shaq about him talking to the team, and he said he did that and all. And Dan, how did he say he did it?
With a PowerPoint presentation.
Welcome back to the Buffalo Plus channel. Mike Catalana, Dan Fates. I am Jenna Cottrell. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We're going to talk about today. We're in the facility where the Bills are at. Some injury stuff.
In the building.
In the building this
we
afternoon.
We haven't been together since before Thanksgiving.
I know. I was just thinking of that. It always feels good when the whole team is together.
The gang's back together. All right, the Bills, the calendar now turns to December. Dan, the Bills are very good in the month of December. And we heard a lot of talk this week of questions from the media about the Bills' dominance this month.
Yeah, it's been really good in December. 18-3 in the month of December since 2020, including winning 12 out of their last 13 games in the month of December. So all of that is good because a lot of this has also been talked about is the inconsistency that the Bills have had. 4-0 start this season. 4-0 start. 8-4 since, so they have been 4-4 math-wise, guy, got it, since the last 2 months, and that kind of needs to change. So I was kind of joking around. Maybe the calendar is turning over at the exact right time.
Not only are they 4-4, but a couple of the losses were brutal.
Yep.
Like the way they played in Miami, the way they played in Houston.
Yeah.
That was not like, hey, we played okay, lost a tough one. They look lost in both of those games. Made some comebacks and all, at least a little bit, but looked that way. And I think that you can't have that now, right? You got to win games, and then at some point it's January and it's a playoff game, so you can't be consistently inconsistent, as you say.
Yeah, and I asked Sean McDermott about that because they always talk about staying. Sean has been asked about it over the last few weeks, even after games and after wins. How do you stay consistent with your level of play? And Sean has said, well, you got to keep your preparation consistent. Well, when your preparation at times feels like it's not getting the results that you want, do you have to tweak that preparation?
Yeah, I don't think we can afford to be inconsistent. Not now. Not that you can ever be, don't get me wrong, but our backs are against the wall. That's the way it is, and that's our mindset. So, I think we're all aware of, some of that that you discussed, but there's no time for that right now. So we got to go.
Yeah, I do feel like that was kind of the tone overall from today at practice, is just asking like the sense of urgency, where that needs to be for this team. And that was kind of a theme throughout the day. Yeah,
it has to be, right? I mean, look, the focus is on, as they'll always say, each game, but they recognize where they are in this. Yeah. And it's easy to look at the New York Times playoff predictor and say you're at a certain number. Go lose a game and you see how quickly it can change. Yeah. And it's going to be wild with the way the whole playoffs figure out anyhow, because so many of these teams are playing each other. So I always think about that too. It's like, you just got to win. You win, it'll take care of everything. Mm-hmm. And with who you're rooting for this week, in 2 weeks, if it didn't go that way, you might say, oh, this worked out better for the Bills. So their focus has to just be better, and it has to be just on taking care of business.
Because that's funny, Jenna. Like, we joked around, I think when we did the video before Thanksgiving, leading into the Pittsburgh game, I said it was a must-win. But not really a must-win, but kind of a must-win. Like, that's kind of how this Cincinnati game feels. Like, this is another game that you cannot drop. I know it's Joe Burrow. I know it's the Bengals. You're still a better team than them at home, and to go out there and prove it.
Yeah, but this is the point in the season where it's like, these games are imperative, because you're right. For the Bills to do what they need to do, they just need to win. It's really simple. We don't need to worry about rooting for other teams. Just win, continue to win, and that will put the Bills where they want to be. Is that in terms of the division? Probably not.
Probably not.
Either way, you want to get into the postseason.
So you know what's wild? The Bengals are 4-8. They're 4-8.
Yes.
If the Bills were to meet them in the playoffs, the Bills would be on the road for that game.
Correct, because they would win the division.
Yeah.
That's their only chance.
That's nuts,
right?
Though. That is
nuts.
Isn't
it? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be a wild card, the Bengals, but they could definitely, if they win, they're going to be the division champ. I think that's the way it's going to come out.
Weird.
So that's when you just have to just focus.
The Ravens, the Bills, and then the Ravens again.
Yeah. So it's going to decide it all.
Yeah, important stuff.
We got to talk also to Shaq Thompson today, and I thought what a guy, like what a dude that you want to have. Sean's called him a dog and somebody that he's known for a long time. The first question I asked him was kind of like, hey, you knew Sean as defensive coordinator Sean in Carolina, and now you see head coach Sean in Buffalo, and what's that been like? And he said he's more relaxed now. He goes, he really is a player's coach. He wants leaders and the guys in the locker room to lead the team, and he goes, teams only go as far as the players do, and the leaders that are on the team. That was interesting.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think Sean gets enough credit on the outside for that.
I agree.
It's an ego thing to be a head coach, I would think, like 100%. In any one of them. But he does do that. And I think sometimes there's a thought of a player's coach being a weakness.
Agreed.
Depending on how you look at it. He does want to empower his players. He wants them
That's exactly what he said.
To sort of run it. And that's coming from Shaq. Shaq is like
Shaq's been
no
around.
nonsense.
Yeah.
He's been around for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And he knows them. But I listened to that and I thought, I don't know if people give Sean the credit he deserves for that, because his teams usually have been, especially when it's going well, or even when it's going poorly.
I agree.
It has been player driven.
It's one of those things sometimes where I feel like it's all of the blame, none of the credit situation,
Yes.
and that is how it is in the NFL, especially for head coaches. I think that's what you sign up for going into things. But I do think having a veteran like Shaq Thompson talk about leadership from the players, what that can do for the team, and specifically what he did.
Yeah, absolutely. One, his play on the field has been great. Mike, you kind of asked him, like, hey, you're a vocal guy. We heard about his talk on Friday before the team. We'll get to that in a second. But it's also his play on the field, which makes his words carry more weight and volume. And Shaq said, I'm really kind of a quiet guy. And he goes, it's taken years for me to kind of have this presence and feeling comfortable with stepping up. I was asking him about the fact of this inconsistent consistency of this win-loss. And, the old adage is, well, you learn more in a loss than you do in a win. And I said, like, how do you make sure that you're still learning things and getting better after a win so you don't have to go through a loss? Shaq talked about how after Thanksgiving the season starts and had a unique way to describe the way the Bills need to have an attitude after a win like they did in Pittsburgh.
You just got to be hungry, right? Like you can't be full off of that win, right? You got to basically throw that food up and be hungry again. Get back to your ribs, your diet, whatever it is, and go out there and be hungry, right? So every week we're going to have to go out there, play hard, play physical, eat, you know what I mean? Win, throw it up, go out there, eat, do it again, throw it up, and go out, you know what I mean, until we see the result that we want to see.
It's got to throw it up.
Yeah, just throw up, eat,
and go back
snip,
and eat
snap,
again.
snip, snap. No. I do think you mentioned the point earlier of it means more when a guy is playing well. And if you've played on any team, that is absolutely the case.
You're right. It means more. And also, I don't think he would have. He also said he wouldn't have felt right saying it, let alone having impact. He's like, when you're hurt or you're not playing, it's hard to be that guy.
Yeah, but it makes total sense to me of, when you're what?
Oh, I was saying what Sean said on Monday about Shaq Thompson. Like, there has been a lot of, hey, this defense, the splits between when Terrell Bernard's out there and Shaq Thompson, like, there's quite a bit of numbers and analytics that say they're a better defense with Shaq Thompson out there. Now, again, he's been filling in for Terrell Bernard, who has been injured. Sean was asked about his play again on Monday, and he said, quote, when he plays, he makes a difference. In terms of playing time, we'll see where that goes.
Yes.
Terrell Bernard is a captain. Thompson even said that when we were talking to him. He goes, he's our cap. Like, he's the guy that we lead and follow. But it's Thompson's energy, aggressiveness we've seen over these last few weeks that have really made a difference.
Decisiveness as well.
Anger,
the
physicality.
The physicality, all that. No, I mean, I think it's been someone that's kind of cool to see what they've done for this team. I mean, when the Bills sign him, it's like, we'll see what he has left in the tank. He's coming off some big injuries. But to see the way he is making impact both on the field, but then also in being able to kind of rally this team and this defense, I mean, that's impressive for a guy that this is, I know he's an older player, but this is his first season here.
He's got the wisdom of a Lorenzo Alexander.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like
Which,
that-
if you don't know, the media, we loved Lorenzo because he always brought such great perspective.
And even if you miss Shaq Thompson at the press conference, he's nice enough to come over to the side.
Well, we didn't miss him, Dan. We were over there.
Correct.
working.
We were working. Somebody was supposed to film the press conference of Shaq Thompson, And that person was standing next to us.
But then and then you guys got a one-on-one with him, though.
Right.
So that's way better.
Well, Shaq was like, "Oh, where were you guys?" And we just pointed right to Jenna.
It was like, "Thank you so much."
We switched roles today, where I was like, "I'll do the story. Jenna will do the press conferences."
In my defense, they haven't been having a second person come to the podium in some time.
So
but that being said,
you just checked out.
Well, no, I just thought it was over.
In our interview that we got after Jenna failed to get the interview for us.
It was way better. It was way better.
I'm not usually surprised. I was really surprised because I asked Shaq about him talking to the team, and he said he did that and all. And Dan, how did he say he did it?
With a PowerPoint presentation. I asked him first, like, did that something that you felt like you needed to do? And he said, no, I was asked to do it. And he said I was leaving the facility and that he thought of a dog story and that he then compiled. He said he's a visual learner and compiled slides and had a very nice presentation.
If I was making a list of players that I thought were gonna present a PowerPoint presentation, I don't know how high up on the list.
I don't think I would have any players. I don't think there's a lot of players making PowerPoints.
He did say he had help putting it together, but he said, I have too much respect for these guys to not put the effort in to do it properly.
Yeah.
It's a leader.
That is.
Dawson Knox.
I could see that.
Yeah. Dawson would have.
When was the last time you used Microsoft, like PowerPoint?
Yeah, it had to be college.
I would imagine it was college.
I would love to see those. This could be fascinating.
They had spell check back then.
Even spell check's like, I don't know, man.
That's the worst.
I don't know where you're going there, Dan.
That's the worst.
No, I love that because I think it is both. He thought that would be the right way to do it.
Yeah.
He figures if I'm going to talk to this team,
Yeah.
connect it with the players. But he's got all of that going. He's got the respect. He's playing. And I said, when you watch the games, when somebody's going backwards on a tackle, 45's usually around.
Yeah.
I think he's been playing great. So he's doing it all.
I'll put that full answer up on our social media, on Instagram, on TikTok. It'll be on a YouTube short because it's funny to hear Shaq just, and I was like, so you just had homework? And it was like, it was more of a passion project. And, you know, he's like, this is a special group of guys. They needed and deserved that type of effort to put into it. And he goes, the guys responded and they need to continue to do that.
I mean, we have seen this defense play better in these last couple of weeks. And so I do think that having a veteran leader step up in a moment like that, I think for this team, you've talked about so much this season about how the defense needs to kind of pull it together. They did a nice job of that in Pittsburgh.
They've been pulling it.
I agree. I feel like from the second half of, honestly, I would say Atlanta, from then on, they have done a good job. There's been moments of lapsing, but at the same point, they've done enough. And that's at the beginning of the season, it was obviously worrisome.
It's crazy because I know when you like and you comment and you subscribe and we see all the comments and social media and stuff like that of fire McDermott and he's lost, like, he is piecing, him and Bobby Babich together have been piecing this defense together that has been guys dropping all over the place, and he has been able to hold this defense together. And honestly, now they're starting to excel and play well going back to the second half against Houston, allowing 61 yards. And again, the Steelers' offense isn't explosive by any means, but still to do what they were doing in that game, that's what good defenses do.
They figure it out.
Yeah, you mentioned, shout out to Bobby Babich.
Yep.
How he's, whatever the circumstances are, how much Sean is involved, they work together. But to your point, too, like Shaq's in there because Bernard has been hurt, and then Shaq has played well. Also, sometimes you almost forget, like, they played the whole year without Ed.
Yeah,
And
essentially.
then Hoyt goes out.
Yeah.
And they get him for a brief bit, right, and then he's
Bosa's
gone.
now out.
Well, Bosa is week to week.
Yes.
Or at least, that, you know, and Sean's saying they're hoping it's the 1 to 2, not more than that, to get him back. I mean, these are prominent players on your defense.
Your first-round pick was out for 6 weeks.
Right.
TJ Sanders has been out.
Dorian Strong was the guy who played early, hasn't been back. Like, they have lost a lot of guys.
They deserve a big amount of credit for weathering this storm.
Sunday's a little different.
Why?
Why? What do you mean?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
They've only played, I mean, Burrow 3 times, really. And the one time, obviously, everybody knows was the DeMar game, so that game was stopped. 2 other times. And he's been really good in those 2 games.
We were saying this in the car ride coming up. The playoff game, I think, looks worse than it actually was because in that game, the Bills were just depleted. Like that was coming off the DeMar incident. I think this team was exhausted, and understandably so, because of the roller coaster that they had been on. So I do think that it's not going to show in the stat sheet, but I do think that was a huge piece of that team. Kind of at one moment, it felt like they kind of, not to say gave up, but it was like they were exhausted. They didn't have that other gear to kick into.
Yeah, there's no asterisks on Pro Football Reference of that game, but it should be Bills exhausted after one of their teammates nearly died on the field.
Said in only a way Dan can, but yes.
I'm just saying, like, we were in that locker room. They were like, I mean, in lack of more words or less, like, they were gassed.
Well, I know during the week we're going to talk more about the game, but the thing about Burrow is even in that game, he drove them down the field and scored. In the other game that they beat the Bills, he threw for over 300 yards. Like, and, you know, Sean talks about, they talk about he's smart. He kind of knows what you're doing before you do it. And then he has the physical ability. Like, Aaron Rodgers knows what the defense is doing. He just doesn't have the ability to do it anymore. Joe Burrow does. He's not maybe 100%, but it's just different. It'll be a different type of game, but not having Bosa out there is because they haven't gotten a gret pass rush, and now he's
That's
not
something
there.
that has struggled for sure.
And it's not who you play, it's when you play them. New England plays them with Tinsley and no T. Higgins and no Jamar Chase and
no Joe Burrow.
And Joe Flacco, and the Bills get, you know, a Bengals team coming off a really nice win against the Ravens, 10 days off. It will be a big test in Orchard Park on Sunday.
I just want to note more so on the injuries.
Yep.
So Deion Dawkins as well as Spencer Brown and Dalton Kincaid were listed as limited today. It was a walkthrough, but I do think that's an encouraging sign. Deion Dawkins is still in the concussion protocol, but we'll see how he progresses throughout the week. I would expect him, with having limited practice today, listed as that he will be trending in the right direction.
Yeah. When they get to that part limited, then they're progressed to a point when they get out on the field.
You have to do a padded practice, right, before you can be cleared.
And the bad news is the guys that did not practice, we already kind of knew that it'd be Terrell Bernard, Joey Bosa, we said week to week. And then the other one was Josh Palmer, which was a surprise because he was limited last week, was questionable for the game, and now didn't even participate in the walkthrough. Sean said he's just not in a good place with his body and the injuries right now. They're kind of reevaluating that as it goes on.
The other guy's Dalton Kincaid. I think that seems to be trending in the right direction.
Yeah, we had him as limited.
Right.
Yeah.
In limited. So in terms of that, because this Cincinnati team has struggled on defense, they were better against the Ravens. They're not good at covering tight ends, not good at covering backs out of the backfield.
They're not good at anything defensively.
I think
did play
they've
better.
been playing better.
The fact that they've been playing better doesn't erase entirely all the bad
I agree.
that they did.
I
They
hear
gave
you.
up like 40 to the Jets.
Well, they were. I think they are 30th against the run, 32nd against the pass, or the other way around. Like it's that case.
It's not good.
But none of that matters up to this thing. That's why I was saying is it's like you can look at their other numbers for the year. It doesn't matter because Burrow wasn't playing. They don't have Trey Hendrickson. He's not going to play,
Correct.
which is at least the Bills get that break against them. But so we'll see. We'll see who ends up going.
We want to tell them about Hooligans coming up.
1 week from Thursday, depending on when you're watching this. 1 week from Thursday.
December 11th.
Yeah, you guys know Webster. You too.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
My parents have already reserved a 10-person table.
My in-laws have already reserved a table.
Wow.
Get there quick. Our parents are gobbling up seats.
So that is next Thursday.
Gobbling up?
We're just taking them up.
So that is the Thursday before the Patriots game.
Yes.
You're right.
But we're doing the podcast live.
And then a week after that, Riverworks.
We'll be in Buffalo.
Yeah.
We'll be here in Buffalo.
We're
So there's
everywhere.
tons of content if you want to hear what they're saying in Nashville.
Michael might have
All right, so
mislabeled
I made
something.
one mistake.
Whoa.
Did you talk about the backpack?
I did not talk about the backpack. Yeah, you guys are piling on about me, but
Mike forgot his backpack on the drive to Pittsburgh at the station.
Now it sounds just, we forgot your backpack. In my backpack
Is your
were
life.
the laptop to edit, all the other stuff we
Credentials.
need, the small camera we use, and the credentials for the game.
we were like an hour 15 outside of Rochester, and Dan
So
sent the text
credit
message.
to Dan. Thank you, Dan.
Yes.
Dan drove to, if you know the area, Dan drove to Batavia. We drove back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, excuse me. I drove.
Yeah.
Jenna's not driving.
Okay, you made the drive an
It was
hour and a
very
half
funny.
longer.
It was very funny to come into the station and be like, oh, Mike must have got a new backpack and transferred everything into his new backpack. And I was like, laptop, camera, credential, like,
Everything was in there.
hey guys, you miss it? And they called me back. Yeah, that's it. We'll be right back.
Yeah. got you a little snack for you.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a snack. And then you did a great conversation with Dan Horde.
Yes.
And it's about what they're saying in Nashville.
Yeah, I wrote Nashville. I don't know why I was thinking Nashville.
It's okay.
It is.
Nashville and Cincinnati are very close.
They are not that far apart. He is the play-by-play voice. He grew up a Bills fan, grew up going to the games here, loves Van Miller, says some of his calls, it's Van Miller in his head when he's calling
cool.
the game.
So cool.
Great dude, went to Syracuse, born in Jamestown.
Of course he did.
And
that's where all the greats
yeah,
go.
I was going to say,
calls the
that
games.
Fredonia State.
both for the University of Cincinnati and he calls for the Bengals. He's great. So he talks a lot about what we can expect for this game.
Yeah. So we'll have plenty more coverage this week. Also check out the video that Mike was talking about.
Thursday live.
Pod.
Yeah, this Thursday live. We'll be in the Connors and Ferris podcast studio. It's the next Thursday. We're in the home of Jenna.
And then
she's taking it over as the home of
Where
Webster's.
life is worth living. That is
The parents are
literally
still there.
the catchphrase. Where
Yeah.
life is worth living. All right, that'll do it
wild.
for us. For Dan and Mike, I'm Jenna. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We will catch you next time here on the Buffalo Plus channel.